All right, traders, welcome to UrueMarkets prediction. We're happy to have you with us. What we want to do is to predict what we have for the week of March 23 to March 27. So what we have here is our chart. We've explained all the items on the chart, so we'll just go ahead and explain what they. We've made videos that explain all that we have on our chart. We have the trend, we have liquidity, we have Confluence, we have Arc. So we'll just dive in and explain what will happen next week. So what you have here is the chart that shows you the trend and our Gann arc. So what do we expect for next week? Gold has been doing well for the sellers. As you can see, gold dropped. UrueMarkets saw it. We made a video last week and explained that gold was going to drop, and it did way beyond what we even expected. We expected gold to drop to 800 and 4,800, but then it even dropped below. So what we foresee here is that gold still has a little dropping to do before moving up. Why do we say that? Let's bring in liquidity so that you can see. So our liquidity is about to show up on the screen now, and right there you have it. That's the yearly liquidity. We expect that gold will drop, and remember our rule: when price slides within an arc and hits liquidity, it should rise. So, and also when price slides behind an arc, right now it's the price is within the yearly Gann arc, about to lift some liquidity and go up. So we have a target right here. So let's bring in our 6 month Gann arc and liquidity so that you can see that too, and then see what we are seeing right here at UrueMarkets. So we bring in our 6 month liquidity and Gann arc right there. So you see the Gann arc right there, the liquidity. So the liquidity of the 6 months, the last angle push price down. Is it going to peak from the, look at this. Is it going to peak from the 6 month last angle or the yearly last angle or the 6 months Fibonacci ratio? We are watching to see that. But let us now bring in the quarterly so that you see what we are, where our target is and why we put this marker right here. So now we bring in the quarterly and see what the quarterly shows right there, right there. All right, you see that? It aligns with where we just marked. Now, we expect that gold will drop a little bit on Monday and then rise. Why do we say that? Let's look at the news. The news said that last week the Fed did not cut interest rates, they did not raise it, they left it the way it was. Why? When they do things like this, it simply shows that they believe that USD is still strong and is in the fight. And yes, from Wednesday down to Friday, USD did show that it was strong and it was still in the fight. It pushed gold down, as you can see right there. It brought gold way below what we expected because they felt that the USD was still very strong, and truly so, because this period of the war, this period when there is the US-Iran war, many billions of dollars are being pumped into US. Why? Because a lot of oil is being bought from the US. They are the only ones that can freely sell oil at the moment. Other countries can, but they are very limited. Iran, Iraq, all those um, AU, what countries are there? The countries in the Asian Pacific, yes, they can't sell oil that much. Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran itself, the UAE countries around, they cannot do as much. So because of that, everyone is running to buy oil from the US. And so that made the USD strong and is still in the fight. And it brought down gold. It is still pushing Bitcoin down, as we'll show you. And now on Saturday, Fed Chair Powell spoke. What did he say? He made a 2 minute video accepting the Paul Volcker Public Integrity Award, which is hosted by the American Society for Public Administration. In that video, he accepted because he was given that award for his integrity in the finance sector. Will that That was on Saturday. The market has not opened. The market will open tonight. Will that speech of integrity push that down? That's what we expect. And so we have placed our target right here, hoping that price will dip here before rising. Remember, price has entered a new trend. It's dropping. After dropping, it has to go up. And that's what we see right there. What does our confluence say? Is there a confluence at that point where we are targeting? Of course. The confluence is right here. There's a smaller confluence here. There is a bigger one right here. So we expect that by Monday, price will do something to these confluences, and we are targeting the lowest one. Price will break it and then start rising. That's what we expect to do, following the fact that Fed did not cut interest rates. They did not increase it. They left it as it is because they believe the USD is still strong in the fight. So there's usually that one final push before price goes the opposite direction. And also seeing that this Fed Integrity Award, this ASPA Integrity Award that was given to Fed Chair Powell, this was also high importance. The impact of this was very high, so we expect that price will also drop. And then we do not see any high impact news on Monday. Tuesday is when there is high impact news. The PMI is coming out, and we also expect that the PMI that will come out will be lower because PMI is purchasing managers index. Yes, when they are usually the first to know that, hey, something is affecting the economy of our company, and so their data is usually the 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 door to the impact of whatever is happening, in this case war, on the economy of the company. So right now the manufacturing companies will produce their PMI, and the services companies will produce their PMI. The services sector will produce their PMI. Which of them? What is the services sector? Those that do not manufacture anything, but they provide services to people. For example, transportation, hospitality, hotels and stuff. Restaurants, yes, restaurants, they produce services. They make food for people. Hospitality, hotels, they provide accommodations. And then transportation, they do not manufacture anything, but they provide services. They will also produce their PMI. Their managers, their purchasing managers would have supplied their index to the corporate of the company, and so they will release that data for the entire United States. What UrueMarket expects to see is something slightly lower than the previous. The reason is because they by now would have started feeling the impact of the war that started February 28th. All right, so the impact of that war, the companies, either the services companies and the manufacturing companies, would have begun seeing that, hey, I think the US Iran war is beginning to affect us because we do not have enough. We're buying fuel at a very high price. That's what we suspect. However, if by now that impact has not been felt, or they have not begun feeling that impact, the next PMI will tell. Because PMI is usually the first data that tells how the manufacturing sector and the services sector is faring at the moment. So we expect that the data that will come out will be lower. Usually from 50 and above means the economy is strong. Yes, 50 and below 50 means the economy is weakening. All right. So let's see what data comes. The market foresees that it will be the result that we provided will be lower because the impact of the war, the purchasing managers maybe have started feeling it before every other person's feel it. The purchasing managers feel it first, and when they send in their index, they see, and we're beginning to feel the impact, I think. But again, because US has created a lot of demand in their oil sector, are people still traveling into the US in volumes? to buy? Is the transportation sector still feeling that, okay, even though the war is ongoing, we still are able to provide services very well? The restaurants, the hotels, are they saying we're buying, we can't hire more employees because we're spending a lot on, the impact of the war? We're yet to see, but the market foresees that it will be lower than what is currently here. And then on Wednesday, the crude oil inventories news release will come out. Initial jobless claims will come out. It is expected that it will rise. Yes, let's see how that goes, because the market foresees that would many people have said they do not have jobs because of the impact of the war. We look forward to seeing what this will bring. But what we do foresee, looking at our trend and our confluence and our Gann arc, is that gold will begin to build itself up. And that usually is a consolidation. Gold will begin to shoot up. Gold will begin to consider rising because of the fact that liquidity has been peaked. What we also see here is that a lot of liquidity has been swept. And right here, we see that this has happened. We expect gold to drop in a little bit and then start rising. Now, again, what we look forward to by the end of March, which next week will tell us, toward the end of next week, we'll begin to see, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Friday, we'll begin to see whether, on or before Friday, begin to see whether gold is targeting this zone. Remember, at this zone, gold will rise higher because you see this arc here. If it is released, when it is released and price is here, it kicks price up. And just let me give you a vivid illustration of what that arc is. You remember when hunters, when they want to set traps, when they want to set traps for animals, and then they hold a stick, they turn it, they make an arc, and then an animal gets into that trap, and then the arc is released. What happens to the animal? It's trapped. So that is what we see here. When gold rises up to this point and then the quarter ends, it's like releasing that arc, that trap that the hunter set. Boy, that when this quarter ends and gold price is here, it will kick up, it will go up. And also know that from our previous video, we've explained that gold always targets the next big liquidity. So that arc is somewhere here toward the end of the month, that and the end of the quarter. If gold rises into this zone, this is the target. This is the target, the next big liquidity which exists where the arc crosses our trend. That's where gold is. So UrueMarkets is watching out for it. We're seeing it, we're explaining it. Please join our Telegram channel. Look for UrueMarkets, UrueMarkets on Telegram, and join. We give you daily analysis on how price is going. That is it for gold. We'll also post where we will put our buy. We've already set our buy somewhere here, right there. Great. We already set our buy entry right there because we say buy projection for Monday market opening. We expect a dip and a rise. So UrueMarket is stationed here so that we can tell when price drops in here, it's definitely going up, because, and we can say going up because we have seen that price has come into this arc. When price slides within an arc and picks liquidity, it is going up. That we know. And where does liquidity cross this arc? Where does our liquidity cross this arc? Right here. Right here. There's liquidity right here. Number one. There's liquidity right here. Number two, that is within the arc. But what about the one behind the arc? There's liquidity right here. So if price is dipping, this is the target. These are the targets. If it slides in a little more, it should pick up and rise from there. If it drops and breaks this arc, it's targeting this liquidity that you can see right there. We've explained, and if it gives even more discount, If price says I want to dish out more discount for the buyers, look at that. We've explained to you where you have a confluence or where there is a high, let me see how what we call it right here. No, right here in the trend. The strongest liquidity or trend exists where there is a cluster. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. A cluster of yearly, 6 months, and quarter last angle. And you can see it right here that you find that cluster. You find in this trend, you find that cluster. This is quarterly last angle. This is quarterly Fibonacci ratio. This is last angle for the 6 months. This is last angle for the year. This is last angle for the quarter. This is quarterly Fibonacci ratio. You see, this is yearly Fibonacci ratio. This is quarterly Fibonacci ratio, quarterly last angle, 6 months last angle, quarter 6 months Fibonacci ratio, quarterly Fibonacci ratio. All of these guys are here to block price from going further down. That's what we, and then you see the arc that crossed, and then that is our trend. Gold is looking for its way up. That's what we can say. And then please watch our previous video where we analyzed how to trade profitably with just the Gann Arc. We made a video how to trade with just the Gann Arc, and we explained a lot in that video. Please watch it, and then you can benefit even more from our analysis like this one. What will happen to Bitcoin? Let's take you there. Bitcoin is dancing right in front of this yearly last angle. You see, it bounced off, it peaked, it bounced off here, it's trying to peak. But what we foresee is even clearly shown in the Gann arc. We expect that Bitcoin will break this level downward. Why do we say that? Look at this. Look at this. This is the beginning of a new trend. Bitcoin does not have the power to lift. Bitcoin is looking, it's pointing downward. Why do we say that? Remember our rule with the Gann arc. When price is, and there's one expression people always use, I think somewhere in the United States, if you hang around the barber shop long enough, you get a haircut. If you hang around the barber shop long enough, you get a haircut. Bitcoin has been hanging around this level long enough. From the beginning of this new trend in February 6th, when the trend ended, it tried to move up, it couldn't. And here you have the last angle. Let me delete this line. It was used for analysis. And then this new trend came. It's been hanging around this long enough. And we expect it to break this line, this arc, by this week. And why do we say that? Let us invert this angle so that you see it clearly. So I will invert this angle right now, and then you see. What do we say is the rule of our trend? Where liquidity, where the Gann arc crosses our arc, our trend, there's always liquidity there. And the big buyers, the big money movers, they see it. And what will happen? This BTC has been dancing around here for so long. Now, remember, I inverted this candle, this chart. So up is now bearish. So just note that it's not bullish, it's bearish. So what will happen here? Price has been dancing around here. And remember our rule for the arc? Our rule says when price is sliding behind an arc and then it meets liquidity, it picks it, and then it faces that arc to go and break it. So now let's invert this arc. After seeing that in the bullish sense, what do you think will happen? We expect that Bitcoin will break this level, and then after breaking it, it will now target. Let me go down to the 2 hours time frame so that you can see it very well. You can see, let's zoom in, and then you can see the whole picture. Look at that. We expect BTC to break this level downward. It might want to slide up because of this liquidity it is touching, which we saw in the quarter, in the 30 minutes time frame, but we still expect a downward move. There's a lot of liquidity right here. We saw it in in the trend. Look at the trend there. The trend shows that, hey, there's a lot of liquidity to sweep yearly, 6 months, yearly, 6 months. We go over to the next chart where we see the timeline. All right. So this timeline says I have crossed this timeline. In fact, on this other chart, Bitcoin has already entered that arc, as you can see right there. Bitcoin has already entered. And that is the beauty of reading your analysis from different arcs. You can already see it will not lift itself out of here. The beauty of reading your analysis from different charts is that you can see what the other chart is saying, because when brokers release their charts, their high and lows are different. And when you plot based on different charts, you can already see what we are predicting is already happening right here. Price is already in this liquidity in this yearly Gann arc from this other chart. You see, it will not be able to lift itself out of here. Remember, price is going like this. Price is going forward, right? We do not foresee BTC lifting itself out of this sliding arc. Mm-mm. We don't see that. Rather, we see it, struggling and dipping even further. That's what we see for BTC down right there. And our trend tells us that it has more liquidity here to peak right here, and it may even drop into the 552,000 zone before it sees this timeline. All right, this timeline somewhere by the end of this month, it may drop further here, drop further down here, pick this by this timeline reverse, or by this timeline where you have, now look at this, by this timeline you have the 6 months Fibonacci ratio, you have the yearly Fibonacci ratio all standing together, you have the monthly Fibonacci ratio, and then you cross the last monthly angle, then you meet the quarterly Fibonacci ratio. The same principle applies with the horizontal and vertical line. Where you see this, it means this is a strong time. All right, this is a strong time that you see price there. I wish I could see the other one and show you this is a strong time. Let price load so that you can see that. I wish I could show you more from there. Okay, at the beginning of this, you saw, where was this? These all stood together. Good. I think this can help. Even within this trend, this strong time pushed price down. Even in the middle of this trend, BTC was trying to rise, and in the Gann arc, we could see that our Gann gave its back to Bitcoin right there. Look at it. Can you see that arc right there? It could not raise itself up into this arc. Why? Because it has turned its back on Bitcoin. The yearly Gann arc turned its back on Bitcoin, and because of that, Bitcoin could not rise into it. It had to consolidate right here, and it will break into this zone. We just saw where liquidities lie within this zone, and it will be sometime after, maybe sometime into May, that it may have gathered enough momentum to go into this space right here. But as long as it is within this time, it is bearish because there's a lot of hurdles to overcome. But if it is able to overcome that hurdle and drop into this, there may be some space here for BTC to use. All right, that's what we're showing here. Okay, but next week BTC is breaking this. It will raise a little bit, then break this here, because these other chart already shows us that it is within this arc. So this arc is too slippery. Are you seeing that? It's too slippery for Bitcoin to rise into. It's too slippery. So Bitcoin might just attempt, then drop because it can see all the liquidity that we just showed you resting right here. We show you the timeline. To follow our Telegram channel, we'll drop our signals, the buy, the sells. For gold, we expect that within next week it will be gearing up for a buy after it drops either on Monday because of the integrity award that Fed Chair Jerome Powell accepted. An integrity award means that he has done well for USD. All right. And for him to be given, if you watch that video, he said it is a humbling experience just to be named alongside Paul Volcker, who was a renowned economist and a chairman of the Fed for USD. So such a news coming out on Saturday means that hey, there's an integrity award given to the current Fed chair, which indicates that he did something good for USD, which also indicates that USD is powerful, and so USD will drop gold. All right. So that news aligns with our technical structure. Our technical structure says that gold still has some leaking to do for liquidity. So follow our Telegram channel. We'll drop all our highs and the lows. Our Confluence also agrees. All right. Our two Confluences agree that hey, there's still some dipping that needs to be done. All right, we can still see just dip in a little bit, dip in a little bit so that we can allow you go up in peace. Our two confluences align, our three Gann arcs align, all right, and our trend align, the liquidity, all right, shows that. Let us wait for price to play out. Thank you very much for joining our analysis for today and for next week. We hope that gold will still pick more liquidity from here before it starts rising. Okay, maybe even a little bit down. And then we have our target right here in this other one. If gold makes it fight USD, makes it into this arena and says, you know what, I'm hanging on this trap by the quarterly, pick me up, then the target is what you have right here. The trend will end bullish for gold, as we can see right here. So UrueMarkets is watching. UrueMarkets is daily observing how the market plays out. We do not own the market. We simply tell you what will happen in the market based on our technical structure, our technical tools, our trend, our liquidity, our confluence, and the very important Gann Arc. Gann Arc is like a stream where the market simply just flows. Price flows in and flows out. It goes north, it goes south. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being in this analysis. We look forward to telling you how the market went in by next week when we review our analysis. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and then turn on notification. Thank you very much. See you next time. Within the week, we'll keep talking. Join our Telegram channel. Bye for now.